to Art People, the podcast where we look at art from different perspectives. We're talking to artists, galleries, and collectors with the aim of making art more accessible. I'm Ohi. I'm Ohai. Let's get into it. Today on the podcast, we have Sunshine.
Hello.
How you doing, Sunshine?
Hello, guys. How we doing?
We're good.
We're good.
Okay. I guess let's get into it.
Let's get into it. That's Johnny. So today we're just talking about like 9 to 5 in art. So we just want to know, tell us about yourself. Are you an artist? Are you a gallerist? What are you?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm an art consultant.
Ooh, fancy.
Which is a nice name to encompass everything that I've experienced. No, it does not. It really doesn't. But no, I've dabbled in gallery work. I've worked as a gallery manager, head of marketing and communications in another space. I've been an account executive for an institution. I've worked in other places as well. But right now, as it stands, I own an art. It will become a foundation that does work from creating or building data infrastructure for the arts industry, community-driven endeavors in one, envelope. And then I also have a media company as well for the arts.
So
That's why I'm an arts consultant.
How did you first get into art?
So, funny enough, I actually had always wanted to go into the business of art. I always knew or loved to create art, but I knew that I didn't want to be an artist.
You don't have talent?
No, I'm very good at art. I hold myself up to say I'm good. I have the talent for it, but I think maybe when I get to my 50s, that's probably when I'll start expressing that. But for now, I just know I didn't want to do anything from creating the art. I wanted to work behind the scenes in helping artists become or building the infrastructure around it. And so I studied art history. I went to do a master's in business management, and then I came back to Nigeria, not with intent I wasn't ready to work yet. I wanted to go back to England and, work for some galleries there. But I came back to Nigeria to see my family, and I got a job. Somebody was looking for someone. I worked with a company called Artirama. At the time, they were an online art space. And they needed someone to do the running around, really. I didn't mind because it was also my NYSC year at the time. So I didn't mind. And it was also the year of exploration. It was 2017. Everybody was doing something that was interesting. The art markets on a global scale had their eyes on Africa and Black art and Black American artists. So people were trying to see how to find Africa on a global scale in terms of the visual art space. So I came in a good time because people were looking for really vibrant, energetic, workers to help them build their vision so that they can have global recognition too. So yeah, that's kind of
actually loops into my next question, because was there a moment that I can actually make a career path from
the industry?
From the industry, from art.
I mean, I didn't go in with any sort of direction. I just hopped in thinking, well, something will come of it. I actually wanted to be a curator. I don't consider myself a curator now, but I do curate things because I think it's a specialized. You have to be. There's specific specializations, if that's the word I'm going to use, that you need or you need to train for a specific reason. I'm like a culture curator, if you will. I don't think I'm like an Andrea or like an Echo Ocean or I'm not like any of them. And I don't want to take on that mantle just yet. But at the time, I wanted to be a curator. I wanted to have my gallery. I was like, yes, this is so fruity. I love it. But then I realized that, later on, that's not what I wanted to do. And I'll probably mention that later. But at first glance, I thought that was what I wanted to do. So yeah, at the point where I joined Artirama, I thought, I've been to all these galleries, I've met people now. So I can actually create a career.
So how long were you with Artirama for?
I was there for maybe a year and a half.
And then how did that progress? What was the next?
I left. When I say I left or I got poached? No, I left and I started my consultancy. I wanted to help
What does that mean?
I wanted to help people, pretty much bring people to get people out that they needed.
Okay.
Right? So there weren't as many. Essentially a dealer.
Yeah.
But I call it a consultant. Dealing just sounds like, you have one car, you want to swap the car. You're dealing. No, I'm a consultant, please. Let's not.
You can have that.
Give it a
So you
lovely
were
name.
consulting for a while?
I was consulting for about a year. Halfway through doing that, I again got a call from a friend who was working at Echo Hotel, and they were looking for someone to work at the gallery space that was there. In this case, we know it's R21. So I was running to a meeting. She begged me to come straight to Echo Hotel before I went to my meeting. I walked in a room full of like 8 people. I was in front of the head of sales and marketing, who is still the head now, Iyaduni, who's like an amazing person. And they were just interrogating me. So tell me about yourself. What do you think this is? How much do you want to earn? And I was like, dang, y'all you're not really coming at me. This is too much. But it was great because I still stood my ground. And the next day I was told, oh, well, I think they want to hire you. Can you come in, have a chat with the director? And that was kind of it. And I was at R21 for 3.5 years from that point. Yeah. I wasn't dealing because I had my contract, I wasn't allowed to.
Okay.
But I was still working alongside like meeting collectors, helping them to understand more about the industry, doing behind the scene work. Yeah. Okay. And also building my knowledge of the markets, because I think sometimes when you enter, you just stay where you are. You don't go to galleries. You don't go to exhibitions. You don't intermingle. Like you don't talk to anyone. This is pre-COVID, by the way. So I made a point to always be out. I was always present. I was always introducing myself. I didn't really care. I was just open to talking to people. And also R21 drew a lot of crowd, a lot of foot traffic because you're right in the middle of the hotel.
That place is really cool.
It's really cool. You may miss it if you don't know, but if you do, you will always...
The first time I went in, I was like, I didn't even know this was here. Like, this is so interesting.
But it's really cool.
And I also was because I had worked on really interesting project, they did Floor 19, which is a celebration of 19 designers and artists at the same time. So I came in, that was 2018, 19, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. I came in at a really interesting time because it was the first time they had done it, and I was interacting with 19 different people across Africa. All of them either designers, artists, or I guess, what I call them, product designers, fashion, something along those lines. And that was on for about a year. Yeah, creative minds. So it was cool. Then I worked with Bruce Sonobapeya when he did his retrospective at the space.
Okay.
I didn't curate the show.
That was so cool. Like, what?
Did you like interact with him?
Yeah, I mean, come on. He was always there. But then it was the intermediary was the curator at the time, Kenny, and then his family members, his sons were there too. So again, Professor Wole Soyinka came in as well. There were a lot of people that showed up for him naturally that made it really cool. And then we had the show with Mrs. Ndidi DK, which is again another massive show before she did the thing in Venice last year. But again, I was very energetic, very quick to learn, very ready to gain any information. And I just was like, work with anyone, talk to anyone,
And then COVID came. Did that
affected big time because the show that stayed on was the Bruce show.
Okay.
The hotel had to run because it's a hotel.
Imagine.
Right? We didn't really have protocol as to what was going on. But it got to a point where we were like, we can't actually physically be here. People aren't coming in. So we closed for maybe 2 months. And then we came in on a hybrid basis. Like one person will be in for a couple of hours. You have to wear your mask, all the things. So it was a tedious time. We had to elongate the shows because a space like R21, if you haven't seen it already, it's so big that your program must be set a year in advance.
That place is so
and
huge,
even then, when you set the program, you need to be on the head of the artist creating the work to fill the space. And it has to be curatorially, thematically, it has to make sense. It has to make sense for commercially as well, if you need to sell work. And so it was a lot of things.
I'm sure you learned a lot in that process.
It was great because I always interacted with people I didn't know. We forget that the gallery space is it's a service business. So in terms of emotional intelligence, you have to continuously talk to people and mitigate. You have to mitigate so much stuff. It's just a lot of things. And we forget again that some people don't really know how to interact with art spaces. They think it's a third space. So you come there, you're taking pictures, you're dancing, you're shaking, and you're thinking, no, respect space, respect the work, and then you have to do it in a kind way because you don't want to piss off anyone. It was interesting navigating my own emotions because I had to deal with a lot of people coming in. But yeah, it was a great experience for me.
And then from there, what happened next?
What comes next?
From there, so I still was navigating consultancy whilst during COVID, and then I obviously had to stop that. And obviously consulting for, like, if somebody wanted to do a show with their music, display, I would be the one to come in and help them, curate the works in the space. It didn't conflict with my job at the time because, again, that it just was not the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, would I call it that I got poached? Because I was looking for new experiences. And I met Obida randomly at the gym. I met him at the gym. I would see him all the time, but I didn't know how to interact. And I knew that he, at the time, was working or had worked with a friend, someone that I knew, one of my uncles.
Okay.
And so I would see him in passing. And then he did a show, his very first salon at his house with...
was the gallery open at this point?
No, the gallery was non-existent. He did a show. This is the first thing. So at the time, he had started O Art Me, which was in his house. He was dealing... People knew that he had good work because he was collecting. And so they started calling him a dealer. He didn't love the name because he was an interior designer / fashion
That
designer.
really was to be a collector.
He's a collector.
Yeah, right.
So he just, it was an interesting thing for him. And this is all him telling me the story because I hadn't interacted with him in that capacity yet. So he met Alimi. They hit it off immediately and they decided to have a salon in his house. My friend invited me to that.
What year was this?
This was 2019.
Okay.
As soon as I see this beautiful salon, I kid you not, I don't know what it was because there's a form of inspiration you get when you enter a beautiful space that has been beautifully curated, that the work just speaks to you. I couldn't put words to it.
The energy is just...
But it just
crazy.
flowed. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? There were maybe 20 works. The sculptures were just like,
Amazing.
oh my God, it was mad. But yeah, I walked around the space. I was there for maybe an hour. And as I'm leaving, I tell him, I'm like, I don't know what it is that this is, but I want to work with you in a weird, I don't know what capacity, just anything.
So you were not pushed.
No. I wanted to work with him, not as I want to join your business. It was kind of like any project that you're doing that requires art stuff, I would love to do something with you. Not to leave my job. Because at the time it was post Indie DK show. I loved the show. I think it was a great, whatever, but I wanted something a little bit more upbeat.
Okay.
So I was happy to do projects. That was what I was gunning for. And yeah, he aired me for like 4 months.
Oops.
It didn't, it's okay. And then that happened. And then he calls me one random day. He's like, hey, let's do it. I'm like, do what? What do you want to do? What do you mean? He's like, he's opening a gallery. He wants to start it. Let's get going. And I'm like, all right, what does that mean? At the time, I actually was in London. So I'm like, what does that mean? When do you need to begin? He's like, he's ready to start now. So I'm like, all right, when I get back to Lagos, I will have a meeting. We'll talk about it. And we sat, had a meeting, had similar vision. I was actually meant to come on the project as a temporary curator, build the team, sort out the admin element of the business, do the first 3 shows and leave. By the end of the 3rd show, or was it the first show or the 3rd show? Can't remember. He basically says, join full time.
You're not going anywhere.
So at the time when I left R21, I left without a full-time job. I actually left to go into project basis kind of thing. I didn't want to continue. I wanted to build out my consultancy as a full, I won't call it curator again, cultural practitioner, dealing with other brands, working with a lot of people at the same time.
Because careful.
Yeah, because I enjoyed the project thing. I didn't want to do too much. And I didn't want to sit in a space for too long. Because I had just done that. And yeah, so it was very organic. We worked really well together. Our first show was with Mr. Duke and it was fantastic.
So what was your role?
My role at the time was consultant. When I joined full-time, I was manager.
Okay, cool.
So I'd already worked with the team. I built the team.
So
I knew everybody. It doesn't make any sense.
So what did that manager role
entail? What was your day-to-day?
It didn't really change anything actually because it was like you're managing your team. You're making sure that you're building out the program. If you're going to do a fair, you're making sure you know what fair you're going to do. But we didn't even do a fair until the 3rd year. But the point was making sure that the gallery had a life of its own. It's like as an artist, when you're building your roster, you're trying to figure out how I'm I'm going to go from point A to point B, how I'm going to do new shows, how I'm going to build my brand, how I'm going to work with people abroad, whatever, is the same trajectory as a gallery because you can't just stay in one place. If you want to be a gallery that's commercial and you're staying in Lagos, you don't want to go anywhere else, by all means, be a dealer in that sense, be a gallery in that sense.
And that works too.
It works, by the way. It actually works. You have your collectors, you know who your audience is, you serve that purpose, it's great. But if you now want to be someone that goes outside of the country, outside of the continent, there are other moves that you have to make. So strategy-wise, we had to sit down and figure out what do we want to do in 5 years, in 3 years, in 2 years, whatever. So that was my job. And then obviously working alongside Obida because he has such a creative mind. And I'm quite structured. Mine is how do we actually do it? It's not how are we're dreaming big dreams. What's the, together it made it honestly a fabulous team with Ayo as the admin, Olumide as the comms, it was fabulous. And yeah, 9 to 5 wise, it just was, let's say Tuesday, because Tuesday galleries don't open on Mondays or Sundays, they open on Tuesdays. We have our morning meeting. We decide what we're doing for the week, what our target is. If we have a show that's coming up, who's interacting with the artist, what's the artist creating? Are we going to a studio visit? And then also, by the way, if you're doing this, you're prepping for the rest of the year. You're not just doing it for, just that week. And especially if you have bills to pay, you have, ambitious goals. It's a huge business. You really have ambitious goals. You have to make sure you meet those goals quickly. But yeah.
So did you have KPIs or what kind of KPIs did you have as a manager?
As a manager, I had to, if I'm putting on a show, if I said we're doing 5 shows a year, because we're meeting our target every month in terms of sales, because we have a sales target per month, per quarter, per year. If everybody has a target to sell a piece, because at this rate, we don't have a sales person. Manager is essentially the sales people, director, or even our team, but really it would be on our heads, because galleries naturally abroad would have a sales team to make sure that, you're meeting your sales targets, so you can go for different fairs, that you can help the artist make a living because it's their bread and butter. But yeah, my KPIs were just making sure that each exhibition works out according to the plan, making sure that all artists are satisfied, making sure that the team is cohesive and everybody's working well together, making sure that if we have an artist that we represent, and we only started representing artists by the 2nd, 3rd year, that we are meeting their targets, we are creating opportunities for them. If they want to go and do a fair or a residency, we are actually actively looking for those things, and then we're dealing with, stakeholders outside of the country to know that, this is the work that we're doing. There's so much communication that you don't actually know. It takes up so much of your time. Okay. And that's 9 to 5 is not really a 9 to 5, it's 9 to 9. Because if you're going to meet somebody who's flying in for the first time, you're going for dinners, you're going for shows, you're going to sit in a collector's home because you want to see, you're building relationships that you have to make sure, let me even say this better. The relationship building is the most integral part of the art industry, because nobody is going to show up to your space if you haven't done the work before to get to know who they are, to actually invite them into the thing that you've built. And when we started out with Obida, what I learned from him was he's a really personable individual. He's always in your house. He's checking out how you're doing. He's sending you flowers. And it's not to get back. It's not.
So he's a good boss.
He's a fantastic. When I tell you, that was the most pivotal experience of my career, and it taught me so many vital things that I could not. It's not tangible. It's I could not get that from anyone else but Obida and the entire team. Because working together, I just shook that. Sorry.
It's okay.
Working together for us, we were very mindful of everybody's personal lives. But we also, when we came into the space matters. We're all making sure that this is our baby. We're all growing it together.
So the aim of the podcast is to make art more accessible to everyone. I think we mentioned that. So I imagine there's maybe 90-year-old watching this podcast. They want to get into art the way you have. So they're not a painter, but they want to work in the arts. What would you say they should do to get to where you are now?
Oh, God. I would say whatever, I guess, if you're in the arts and if you're a collector, if you want to be a curator, if you want to be a gallerist, whatever it may be, you need to play to your strengths, because play to your strengths and do your research. Because for me, I jumped into it, and luckily for me, I have this very personable, personality.
Sunshine.
And by the grace of God, this is just what I have, and I've used it to my advantage because it allowed me to get around easily, to talk to anyone I wanted to talk to open, and it really opened doors that I didn't expect. But you have to
be like a people's person.
You don't always, but you need to build the skill of being open. Because if you're going to see somebody that is Fortune 500 arts collector or something, you want to get a big guy in the art industry and you don't feel like you can talk to them.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that you have is your access. Like if you're in a room, I told someone yesterday when I was talking to her, she said she doesn't have the access to, go to places and meet people, etc. And I said to her, like, when you do any sort of job, when you are working for an individual, when you have those people in a room, all you can do is talk. If you don't, you've lost your opportunity.
Of course.
If you're not going to build up the courage, what's the worst that they'll say? No.
No, you move on, man.
The worst thing that they'll say is, oh, sorry, I don't want to talk to you. Then you try the next person. You're going to get many no's before you get a yes. And you only need one person, to be honest.
Did you kiss many frogs or something?
They're okay, not that. I won't give anybody, please. You are trying out the experience of speaking to people.
Yeah.
And if people turn you down, it's not about your skills. It's not how bad you are. It's just that they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And that's not the person for you. Yeah. And you'll figure out as you continue living life that people are not, it's not everybody that's for you.
Of course.
So, but yeah, to anybody that wants to join the art industry and build a career that is somewhat similar to mine, it's not going to be, that's the first thing I'll say, because everybody's art career is always very different, especially if, not even an artist, especially if you're going into it as like a practitioner, like a dealer or a gallerist or whatever, you will have a completely different experience from the last person. So do your research, play to your strengths, and be very intentional about taking advantage of every experience that you have. Because if you don't, you will lose out on really interesting tangents to your career. Yeah.
So your time with Obida came to an end, and then you moved on to the next phase of your career. Was that podcasting? Because I know you started the podcast at some point. No.
So whilst I was at Obida, I actually started a media company called Art Report Africa.
Okay.
And the need was to, from our perspective, tell stories about the art industry in Africa. Because oftentimes when people talk about stuff that's going on, it's either from a PR company or somebody that's in America or Timbuktu or whatever is telling you about a show that is in Nigeria. And it doesn't make much sense. So why isn't that we have the opportunity to do that? So that was what the media company was for. And I started that maybe in 2023, end of 2023.
Okay.
And it was just, myself, my editor, just, going through the motions, writing some interesting articles, starting our Instagram. It was very brick and mortar. It wasn't anything fancy. Whilst that was happening though, I felt, actually, maybe bringing the voices of the people that are creating waves from a Nigerian perspective first before we go into the rest of Africa.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk to them and figure out how their stories evolved, what they've done, and see whether anyone that wants to go into it can identify strengths in those stories. And that's why the podcast started. Although we have stopped, we will hopefully start again, maybe next year, because I have a lot of things going on. But we spoke to Morenike Adeyabo, who is or was the manager of Co. She also worked in the British art market. She worked for a few galleries there. Spoke to who did we speak to? Oh my goodness! Oh, Dolly Kolabalogu. She's the owner of Retro Africa. She's actually the first person we spoke to. She's an amazing interview. She talks about her career, how she worked with BC Silva, God rest her soul. How she worked with a lot of individuals and how her life just turned into, now she's doing a lot of things in the Asian market, and she's the only Nigerian gallery, I would even call it African or Nigerian, making waves, doing Art Basel, doing Freeze, everything in the Asian art market. She's incredible. We had... I
think Obida, I remember that.
We had Obida, yes. We spoke about the... it was the business of art, but we talked about financing, I believe. And it was a great interview.
Yeah.
Somebody else I want to mention that we spoke to, but I cannot remember her name. But anyway, great interviews. It also opened my eyes to seeing more about the industry that I hadn't seen. I also didn't know the backstories of a lot of people's starting points, which you normally don't find out until when you pick at them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is a personal question, but like, I'll say for us, that's like, now that we're doing a podcast, do you have like advice for us?
I mean, I love what you're doing. I think you have a better quality film editing skills than I did, because I was doing all of that on my own. So it was really hard. But I would say, yeah, just be authentic. And you're already doing that as it is. And look for people who people want to hear from, but have never heard from before. Because I find a lot of people have done so much work in this industry, but it has gone unrecognized. Nobody knows anything about their stories. And yeah, Wunika, for me, we spoke to her as well, was one of those people who I did not know her backstory. She's like 15 years deep, almost 20 years deep in this industry. And yeah, you have to give her flowers because she's done so much. So again, be authentic, speak to people who people haven't heard from, but who they know they want to hear from.
So after the podcast, now we know you for starting the gallery tour. Tell us about that.
The Lagos Gallery Weekend.
Yes, please.
Oh dear God. So actually, to be honest,
it's a good idea.
Pre-Lagos Gallery Weekend, so Art Report Africa started.
That's like the first of its kind, I mean. I know of. I don't know.
In Lagos, in Nigeria, yes.
In Lagos, for sure.
Yes, Nigeria for sure.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't my brainchild. It was the brainchild of the incredible Charlotte Langhurst. She was the manager, what I call it, director of the Lagos branch of Tiwani.
Okay.
But she did a lot more work. She worked with Gas Foundation. She worked with AAF. She's done a lot of work.
Okay.
But what Lagos Gallery Weekend is, and gallery weekends is really a celebration of, or a citywide celebration of the galleries, the cultural institutions that are in a city. And it's essentially allowing for all of them to have a voice in that time. They all open up for the entire weekend, and people are allowed to go there and experience, or talk to their directors, their team, experience the new artists, whatever. So the whole point, what Charlotte wanted to do was do the same for Lagos.
Okay.
So they did it as a gallery-led
So you stole the idea?
Okay, I did not steal. I never steal. I love collaboration, let me tell you something. No, but she did this in 2024. So last year, they did it as a gallery-led initiative. It was led by her, Yenwa Gallery, so Ugonna, Obida was involved. It was led by, who else? I think it was Nadine from what do you call it? I can't remember the last thing. Anyway, long story short, it was gallery-led.
Okay.
And so I wanted to work with them on a media basis. I actually just wanted to, be their media partner with Art Report Africa. But I had found out that Charlotte didn't want to spearhead it anymore. And as I spoke to everybody else that was involved, Nadine joined as well, and so did Yenwa, and eventually, but everyone that was involved in the planning process wasn't really interested in planning it. And because I asked her whether it was possible to continue running it as well, and she agreed. So this year, it was almost like a continuation of what they had started. And we had
when was it this year again?
This was March 2025.
Okay. Is it always going to be March, or like?
It will be March next year at least. But moving forward, I guess, as things will go on. But it was meant to be, we wanted to double the amount of galleries that were involved and add some museums and cultural institutions too. We also wanted to add tours, which was different from the last time, because last time it was only within the gallery newsletters and word of mouth that people knew was happening. And then we also wanted to give more context to why the visual arts is actually matters, and the way you actually interact with those spaces, and make it easier for people to just come in and not be intimidated. So I believe, exceeded our expectations because we hit those targets. We were able to hit those targets. But I think, like anything that you do that is of that magnitude, there will still be things you need to improve. And I think even making sure that logistically, because we're not a city that we walk. We don't walk everywhere.
I was going to ask, were there any like funny stories?
Yeah, we don't walk anywhere. But I think what we did, because we had 15 tours over the 3-day period.
Okay.
We had a total of maybe 200 plus people that got involved in those tours. And that's just the tours alone. You then have people that drove in their own cars and went around, whatever. Ideally, I would have loved for more people to get involved. The beauty of it was giving flowers to Tola Kerele, giving flowers to the team at Plus Duty for Art Fair for allowing us to host it around the same weekend, because they gave us a platform. We also mentioned them, but they helped us have a voice. And so it was great to do it in that same weekend too. So what I would love for next year not just dealing with art alone, but we're also going to, speak to the restaurants, speak to the, bars that are available.
So how many days usually would the tour be? And
with the tours?
Yeah.
No, it was just Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So 3.
That was it, just 3 days. So it was a weekend. We will probably extend from Wednesday to the Sunday to give people more time to get used to the thing happening, because you only hear it once and then you don't hear it again.
Yeah.
So it's good to keep that thing going. But yeah, we're going to get everybody involved because Nigerians like to enjoy. So it's not just that we're dealing with the art spaces, which is enough. We're also going to bring all other
Get the whole
stakeholders involved to make it exciting.
But do you do anything outside March? So March is done. Do you wait for the next year? Or do you?
So ideally, and this was meant to be this month, but we will get there eventually. We're going to be doing tours per month for visitors that are coming into Lagos, people that want to hear more about the arts. And it'll be cute, nicely curated 4-part, like a five gallery tour or 4 galleries, or maybe you go to a museum for one day and you come with me or you come with one of our team members. But it's just to keep the spirit alive of you go to galleries naturally. It's not just you wait till the show is on and that's you go. And I think to make it a habit of inquiring of the gallerists, the directors, to always physically be there. And most of them are there. I'll give them their flag. They're always there. But to now be open to speaking to more people and, relaying information. Like, if you see this work, what do you think? How are you embracing it? How does it play out in your own life, And being more inquisitive about what you see in the gallery space than just taking pictures, because that's not enough, So.
In terms of being more inquisitive about like the arts, right? I imagine outside the business side of art, that's like selling, for lack of a better word. Do you collect?
Do I collect?
Yes.
I'm a little itty bitty baby collector. I'm small. I'm a child in the collecting game.
Madu.
Please. I only typically get little pieces because that's what I can afford. But also I think it's like I'm drawn to what I like. I usually...
So, before you go, can you speak more to that? Like collecting what you can afford? Because people, like, we're always talking about how we have this theory that people shy away from collecting art because they think it's only for rich people.
Oh my goodness, no.
So can you go deeper into that?
I think because the arts can be quite intimidating, people don't even want to engage. No, just as an industry, because what you see is glitz and glam. You see that it's so flashy. Oh, this person knows that person. Mwah, mwah. Oh my God, how are you? I love it. It just feels so. It can feel quite elitist. Yeah. And so it's not like that if you get to know the people that are in it. Yeah. But that barrier, that wall that is already up, is already
scary.
Keeping people out.
I think that you have to buy a ticket to go to a gallery.
Yeah, which I think is crazy. Like, I find it so wild. I'm like, walk in. You have to. Do you have to pay? I think some people. So I would mention someone like Art21, for example. They started having a paywall because people were coming in and taking the piss in their spaces, and that I can understand because they're in a hotel. They have a lot of traffic, no problem. But any other gallery, people should know off the bat that you don't have to pay. So that intimidating wall is already there, and then you now have this work is, you can't touch it, you can't whatever, because it is for sale. So whoever is going to buy it has to have it at the same quality, and that's fine. But then I now feel coming there just to experience
gallery
the
etiquette
space.
than anything. Like
But that is already, it keeps me feeling like I can even embrace the thing I'm looking at.
Yeah,
So when I now start talking about money, it's like, I've not paid my fuel, I've not paid my light bill, I've not bought food, I'm hungry. There's so many things
it's not
that
necessary.
you
At the
can't
end of the day, like, art is actually a luxury.
It's a luxury good.
Yes,
so you're only catering to a small group. And then you now have, it's unfortunate that sometimes, and you don't get this a lot from people here, because the gallery the people that go to galleries to buy work, they're a small group.
Yeah.
Outside of the country, you have people that are quite, they don't want to talk to you because they know you're not a serious buyer, not there to buy work. It depends on where you go, to be honest. And that's also a stereotype that is already being built.
Yeah.
So cutting your clothes according to your cloth. Honestly, I would tell people to go to galleries, just ask, okay, is there something that is within this price point? And also galleries themselves create collections at a particular price point. Have prints, have like merch that people can buy, limited edition stuff that I feel like when I take it, I can contribute to this artist's growth. And then I can also take a piece of history for my own children, my descendant, my blah, blah, blah. That in itself makes sense. So for me, there's a small little itty bitty collector. I will buy what I can, and I even pace myself if it's like a 3-month period, a quarterly buy. But then I buy what I like. If I don't find something, I will then save that for
when you walked at the gallery, were there like payment plans available to people?
Yeah, we were happy to do that for sure. And that's something we can't talk about.
Yeah, like, you know,
there are payment plans
that you
for
have to buy it
people.
outright.
Even well-known collectors have payment plans. They know.
Yeah.
People everywhere know. Like, firstly, times are hard. But even when times are okay, there was still payment
Like,
plans.
no one's just jumping down.
If you tell someone something's 200K, okay, I'll pay you 50K. This, like, you don't have to be embarrassed. And I think that's just another thing.
Exactly.
Because we're in society that loves to feel like we can do so much. Just really say that you can't. I want to buy this. I would love to take this. And some galleries are really, they also be humbled in knowing that there are people that want to buy.
Of course.
And they can. And you give the opportunity for that person to do it so far as they are on a strict basis. So I wish there was something like a, what's it called? When you sign up to direct debits. Where it's like, okay, every month I just take the money. No question whether it's minus on your account. Doesn't bother me. So far as I get my money.
Yeah.
I wish that was the case. But
I guess just have to be intentional with it. But these are the conversations we need to have because guys always shy away from art because
Especially young people.
They do, yeah. But then again, it is the responsibility of those that have the gallery spaces to have
the
more,
kids
to educate. They need to do more. Have talks about buying. People do it these days, but more stick with what I love doing, which is bringing people closer to understanding why the arts matters, and then professional development, building other people up and letting them know, what is important in the space and how to do it well. And then, just making sure that the visual art stays alive.
Awesome.
Now we're coming to my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
Piece of the day.
The piece of the day.
Take it easy.
I mean, we don't have to touch it, so we don't have to bring it.
Don't touch.
Don't touch it. Just pay homage. There we go.
You're too close.
The piece of the day.
Tell us about this beauty.
Oh dear.
When did you get it? How long have you had this?
Was there a payment plan involved?
It actually was. Okay, so this is a Debora Jayde piece.
Wow. Amazing.
Heavy.
I'm so excited.
Debora, call me.
It is a Debora Jayde piece. It's a 2022 piece. I believe it's called A Rest Something, Before I Rest or Before I Sleep. I don't remember. You have to check, to be honest.
The shades of yellow are so cool.
But was it intentional that it's yellow and your name is Sunshine?
So this is another thing. And I'll tell you story how I got it. So I went to Debora's studio. This is before she moved to the UK. In 2020. Oh my God, that's a lie. 2024. No, that's a lie. That was last year. 2023, beginning of 2023, I went to her studio.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, no. 2022 is when I actually went to her studio. She had just finished this piece. Okay, so I went to her studio. We went to hang out. That was it. I just went to visit her. I knew she was moving to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to see how she was doing, to talk to her about her work. And as at the time I was working in gallery space, to see how we could work with her. But it ended up just being a chilled vibe. I was saying goodbye. We had been there for 2 hours. I was walking through her studio space and I was going to the door. As I got to the door, I turned around and at the bottom was this piece. Anybody that knows me, they know I love yellow.
Sunshine,
it's not because of my name. It's because I love the color yellow. And Obida knows it's like my kryptonite. I don't know what it is. It just gets me. So I saw this piece and I freaked out and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This yellow is just so sparkling. It just, I was going in and I'm loving it. And she then goes to me. She's like, you know what? Just take it. I said, take it away.
Do
you want me to take it?
Dash?
Dash? She said, no, just take it. See how it works in your space. And then let me know if you want it.
He's not coming back.
So, and I think I was like, no, Debora, don't do it because I didn't want to pay. I was like, no, please.
You were dodging bills.
I was dodging the bills. So, and this is just being very honest.
As
but and then so I said, you know what? She helped me take it. I put it in my car. I'm looking at it. I'm like, actually, you know what? I would this piece, I love it. Put it up in my room. And I'm going back and forth with this piece. I'm like, I love this work.
Check.
And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's run it. And so payment plan, got the piece, and now it's mine. And for me, this work it's like a calm in the space of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you see it, you know that the figure or the protagonist in this case is so calm. She's resting. No, I call her she. It may be, we don't know who it is. She's just calm in the sea of whatever. And I always feel very calm when I walk past it. It's in my room. It's just my wardrobe. And it's in a little nook. So before I go into the next place, I pass it and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Good morning. What's going on?
Wow.
When I'm going to bed, I'm like,
She's
hey,
beautiful.
good night. I'll see you later. And yeah, it embodies a lot of me because I love to rest. But it also has a lot of energy because I'm sunshine.
Hard worker.
But yeah, so love the piece. And I love the contrast of the, like, I don't call it neon green, but like the
That green
bright,
is
the
so
blue
nice.
is fire. And the thing about
it
Debora's
looks
work,
like it tastes good.
it just flows. It's almost like it came from a picture. It's like a scene that's just been captured, but it's made with such beautiful colors. And yeah, love
Very
the
nice,
piece.
very nice, very nice.
Thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for
I've
having me.
enjoyed this.
Time.
Hope you had a good time.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah. You know, you have your ball of energy. You're doing the Lord's work. We need more voices. We need people talking about artists, curators, key stakeholders in the industry. We need more of them. So thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you so much for watching the episode. Like, subscribe, share. Peace.
Oh, peace. Dang.